What's going on, everybody? This is Big Red Jack. This is the first video posted on my channel. I'm basically going to be doing an exercise about the Husker football team, saying if I think that they were better or worse than they were a year ago. Pretty self-explanatory. Like this video if you enjoy it, and subscribe if you want me to start posting more videos. So the first position group, quarterback. This one's really tough for me. I was a really big Adrian Martinez supporter last year. I thought that the dude was super, super talented, uh, and I just really I liked to watch him play. I thought he was a good player. I thought that people gave him a little too much flack. But here are some stats that I found pretty interesting. In Adrian Martinez's career, he has 45 touchdowns to 30 interceptions, 18 lost fumbles. So 45 touchdowns and 48 total turnovers. I think that you can blame the O-line and lack of a run game for a lot of Martinez's struggle. But again, turnover prone. I felt like he would make timely mistakes. I felt like he was the reason we were in a lot of games, but also the reason why we ultimately lost them. Casey Thompson, on the other hand, transferred QB from Texas. Last season, he had 24 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions, and he did not lose any fumbles either. We at Nebraska haven't had a quarterback throw for 24 touchdowns since I think 2009. I'm not positive about that though. Um, so I think Casey's going to be someone who's a little bit more consistent, maybe stays a little bit more composed in the pocket, and makes less errors. I don't think that Casey's super, super talented, but I think that he's someone who's going to be able to just be more consistent, make less mistakes, maybe be a little bit more of a game manager. And I think with the addition of Chuba Purdy, Logan Smothers getting better, I think that the room as a whole is going to be better. Um, I'm not really prepared to say that Casey Thompson's better than Adrian Martinez, but I think I'm going to have to say that the position group is better this year than it was last year. So the wide receiver group this one's pretty difficult to judge. We lose Samori Toure, our best receiver. He had the best production, a good big play guy. He was consistently good all season. He was there when you needed him. We lose Xavier Betts, who couldn't really stay on the field for too long, but he was definitely our most talented wide receiver. And in comes Mickey Joseph, wide receiver coach guru from LSU. In comes I see Isaiah Garcia Castaneda from New Mexico State. All accounts say that he looks like a real player. He should be able to come in and make an impact. I don't think he was able to play a spring from what the coaches are saying, but he looks really good in fall, and I bet we'll be seeing a lot of him this season. Also, Trey Palmer from LSU, almost a 5-star back in the day. He's apparently like the fastest guy on the team. Casey has a connection with him, and he should be a very large impact player. Returning, we have Omar Manning, excuse me. Uh, we have Alante Brown, Oliver Martin. That's probably the extent of uh, really impact or high level receivers on our team. Do I think that the room is better than last year? I would have to say yes. I think that Mickey Joseph is going to get the most out of these guys. I think Trey Palmer is the real deal. He's going to be a really big play guy. If Garcia Castaneda can be a real player too, even better. I've heard a lot of buzz about Alante Brown being making a big jump this year, so he's definitely a guy to watch out for. I don't know much about Omar Manning, how he's going to look. Uh, he's been a guy who's you've seen flashes from, but as of this year, I don't really know if he's going to be uh, what his potential is, but he's a huge body, so he could be really good. And then Oliver Martin, he's a really consistent player. Um, I like him too. So I'm going to say that this room improved. It really hurts to lose Torres' production, but I think that these other guys can easily make that up. And it really hurts to lose Betts, uh, but I like where this room is right now, so I'm going to go better. Now moving on to the running backs, I really like Brian Applewhite from TCU, who's the new position group coach. I've really liked what he has to say during his press conferences. He sounds like he's going to coach a more physical group, and they're going to be able to run better in between the tackles and actually have a guy who can do it. I'm confident in that this year. I really like, I've heard a lot of noise about the two freshman running backs, Emmett Johnson and A.J. Allen. It seems like we're in good hands for the future there. And as for guys who are going to be able to make an immediate impact, we have Anthony Grant from New Mexico Military Academy. He seems like he's a real player, number one JUCO running back. We saw a big run from him in the spring game. He seems like a guy who's going to go on and make an immediate impact. I wouldn't be surprised to see him start. Another guy is Gabe Irvin Jr. He was one of the first true freshmen to start a running back at Nebraska in a really long time. I really liked him last year. He got hurt during the Oklahoma game. He didn't, I don't believe he went through spring practice this year, but coaches have said that he looks really good in the fall. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Gabe Irvin Jr. as well. I really like him personally. I think that he's kind of a do it all back, and I like what I see from him. And then besides that, we have Jaquez Yant. Uh, I could see him making an impact as more of a situational back. He's big, powerful guy. He can go in between the tackles, maybe on a lot of third and shorts. You'll probably see him out there. And then there's Ramir Johnson, who sounds like he's not going to be limited to just running the ball. His position, he was calling himself a wide back, and we saw him in the pass game a lot last year, especially against Michigan. And I think that he's going to kind of be what Wandale Robinson should have been, and I think that he's going to be a player that is used as a weapon, and he's going to score a lot of touchdowns this year. So if it's not clear, I think that this group is definitely better than last year. The running backs are probably the group that I feel the most confident about how much better they are on the offense. I really trust Applewhite, and I like the players that we have, and I'm really excited to see those guys play. So definitely better. The next position group to look at is the O line. So we lose Cam Jurgens to the NFL. He was our best blocker, period, and he was our center. We lose Greg Austin, the position coach, and bring in Donovan Raiola from the Bears, an assistant O line coach on the Bears. So he doesn't really have the same resume that guys like Mark Whipple, guys like Mickey Joseph have, even Brian Applewhite. Um, Rayola is probably the coach that I feel least confident about. That's not to say that he can't come in and perform, but there's not really many signs pointing towards Rayola being able to turn this thing around. We definitely have some young linemen that we can develop into good players, um, but I think with losing Jurgens, not really getting too many guys, we got Hunter Anthony and Kevin Williams from the transfer portal. Not sure how much those guys are going to play. I'm going to have to say that this position group is going to take a step back, and that's really painful to say because in the Big Ten, you got to be good in the trenches. But I think that this O line is going to be, unfortunately, worse than last year. So to finish off the offense, going to look at the tight end room. Sean Beckton was the only coach on offense who was able to retain their job. So that kind of speaks volumes to his importance and how his performance has looked over the years. Austin Allen set all types of tight end receiving records for Nebraska last season. He's off to the NFL now. We have Travis Vokalek to replace him. Vokalek was a guy who played last year. Uh, Obviously, he wasn't able to make as big of an impact as maybe he was able to, or as much as he could have, because he was playing alongside Austin Allen. But he is named a captain. He was sent to Big Ten Media Day, and that's normally a good sign that they're going to be a real player. So I expect Vokalek to be a solid player. Thomas Fedone is still, he was injured again, and he will not likely play until after the Oklahoma game. So don't expect to see much of him early. I think that this room is going to take a slight step back. I don't think that it's going to be too problematic. I think that Whipple's going to get Vokalek involved. I just don't think that he's going to be what Austin Allen was. If we had Fedoni still, I would say that this room could be as good, if not better, than last year. But for now, I think that it's going to take a slight step back, but I really trust Sean Beckton and what they have going. And now moving on to the defense, I think that the defensive backs, led by Travis Fisher, all the players, the way that they talk about Fish, uh, make him sound like a fantastic coach. I think he's probably the second best returning position coach on our team. I think that he's proven uh, how we can develop guys with Cam Taylor Britt, but we basically lose almost our whole secondary. Uh, Deontay Williams, Cam Taylor Britt, and I think that we're going to be able to reload with a lot of these guys. I think that Tommy Hill is going to be an impact player. Marquise Buford was just named a black shirt. Quentin Newsome, as well as Miles Farmer and others. I think that with some of the transfer portal additions that we have here and just our depth, we have some really twitchy, really fast athletes here. And I'm confident that Travis Fisher can put together a group that will could be as good, if not better, than last year. So I don't like to do this, but I'm going to say that this room is going to be the same as last year. Um, I really don't think that they take a step back, and I'm not prepared to say that they're going to be better yet. I think it's going to be more of the same. They're just going to reload, and I think they could be the same, slightly worse, or better. I don't really have a read for the secondary. I really trust what they have going there, but this is going to be something that I'm just going to admit I don't really have a good read on, and it's going to be exciting to watch this season. So moving on to the linebackers, I don't really have much to say about these two guys. I think that Barrett Rude is probably our best position group coach on the team. He's been able to develop talent, and our linebacker spot has been very, very good. I think that with Reimer and Henrich, we probably have the two best linebackers in the Big Ten. Um, maybe, maybe not Ohio State. I don't know, but I think that our linebacker group is very, very solid. I don't have any questions about them. Uh, those two guys are tackling machines. I think that they've been here. They're going to only continue to get better. So I'm gonna have to say the linebackers will be better next season. And I just want to note that JoJo Doman, I would consider to be more in the secondary since he played nickel. So that's definitely something that uh, would affect my decision. Doesn't really sound like we're going to be using much of a nickel uh, the way that JoJo played because we don't really have a guy who can do that. Um, but I think with the defense that it sounds like we're going to play, it'll just be two linebackers, and I think that those two guys are going to be better. So now moving on to D tackles, I decided to split up the D line into more of the interior guys and the edge guys, since our edge guys are kind of built more like outside linebackers, but they won't really be playing like linebackers. I just felt like this was the most logical way to split them up. So D tackle, I'm a little worried about this position group. Mike Dawson, he's been a solid coach. He's coaching both the D tackles and the edge guys. Uh, he's kind of taking over the whole D line. For returning talent at defensive tackle, I really like Ty Robinson, but in the past he's only shown flashes of what he could and I think should be. So we definitely need Ty to have a big year. I would find it hard to believe that we have a good season if we're saying that man Ty Robinson didn't really play as well as he could have. So I think that he's a really important player. We lose Damian Daniels. He's definitely a big loss for us. The guys that we got in, Stephon Wynn Jr. from Alabama, I think that he could be a big player. I haven't really seen many snaps, I guess, played from him. He was at Alabama, didn't really get to play too much. But we just need big guys who can stop the run there, and I feel good about his talent level. Also, Devin Drew from Texas Tech. It took him a really long time to get here, so I'm not really sure how prepared he's going to be to play. And when he did get here, even after fall camp started, they said that they expect him to be an impact player, so that was kind of concerning, and I think that shows how thin we are at defensive tackle. So I think that this group is going to be worse than last year. Again, really hurts me to say that. I think that we need them to be better to stop the run, but I'm going to have to go worse. So now the final position group on the defense, the edge rushers. And oh boy, Mike Dawson taking over this year for these guys. You got Caleb Tanner, you have Garrett Nelson, you have transfer O'Shawn Mathis, all the way from TCU, and I believe Blaze. Blaze will be probably getting in there too. Uh, Jamari Butler, I also believe, uh, might rotate with those guys. So this position group is going to be good. They're going to be way better than last year. This is definitely the group that I'm most excited to see play. I think that we haven't really had a legitimate pass rush since 2014 with Randy Gregory. That's all been all the way since Bo Pelini, Mike Riley. We haven't seen anything. Fifth year of Scott Frost, haven't really seen anything. It's been a long time. I think these guys are legit. I think that they're. I love Nelson. He's a phenomenal leader. I think that he's going to make a big jump this year. O'Shawn Mathis led the Big 12 in sacks 2 years ago. Caleb Tanner, super highly recruited. Him and Adrian Martinez were like the two best recruits of their class. Um, the coaches have been saying that, a couple years ago, Caleb Tanner was kind of written off and he didn't really show up on time for things, didn't really seem to care. Now he's a captain. That is very exciting and I think very scary. So I'm going to have the edge rushers getting a lot better. So yeah, to wrap up this video, this is my better or worst list. I think the quarterback room is better, wide receiver room is better, running back room is better, O-line worse, tight end room slightly worse. Defensive backs I don't have a great read on. I could see them being a little bit worse or even better. Linebackers I have getting better. Defensive tackles I have as worse, and edge rushers I have as much better. So yeah, this is my list. I just want to say that I don't really have any more knowledge than the average fans do. I just watched a lot of press conferences. I listen to a lot of different Husker podcasts. I really like to hear what other people have to say. But again, I'm an idiot. I don't really know much about football. This is just how things appear to me, and you may disagree with this list. So just let me know in the comments if anyone even watches this video, what you agree with and what you disagree with. And again, like and comment if you want me to keep posting these videos. Uh, like I said, I just like to watch other people's videos, and I figured that I would just give this a shot and see if I could make good videos too. So, yeah, thank you for watching.